This is your marketplace. We're inside police surveillance operations in Ontario on the trail of stolen vehicles.
Easy targets taken in a matter of moments.
It's an epidemic, really. You know, how easy the cars are to steal right now.
Canadians forced to watch and wait for car makers to do more to make their rides tougher to steal.
So you made that turn to go first off on home.
I'm with York Regional Police just outside Toronto.
There's it.
You're just coming up the switch now, sorry.
See that black Toyota Tundra? Detective Scott Crespin says it's stolen.
They stole 3 Tundras over 2 days.
Tundra is making the U-Bolt as well.
The thieves are bringing it here to try and get it out of the country.
So they dropped this, and the plan is, you think, to put that black Tundra on it?
Yep.
While Charles C. is out with York Regional Police, I'm outside of Toronto with Peel Police. It has one of the highest car theft rates in the country. And Detective Sergeant Greg O'Connor and his undercover team are trailing another stolen car.
That's our vehicle right there, the blue Toyota Highlander.
Police believe the driver is part of a growing operation selling stolen cars, a problem that's become almost too big to handle.
Can we arrest our way out of this problem?
No, I don't think we will arrest our way out of this. I think everybody's got a part to do in this, and I think it depends on the willingness to participate, come to the table, and push forward. I'll be honest with you, it's almost like a volcano right now where everything's coming to a head and it's just boiling over.
The 2020 Honda CR-V is one of the most stolen vehicles in Canada, about 5,600 in 1 year alone. Sharon Brickman had one just like it until it got stolen this summer.
The car disappeared.
Who do you think should be doing something to fight this problem?
Definitely the manufacturer has to take it upon themselves.
Meanwhile, back with York Regional Police, thieves in a stolen Jeep are about to take another vehicle.
We're going to let them complete the theft if they do it. We're going to conduct surveillance on them, to take a safe next step on what we're going to do. Definitely don't want a citizen or police officer to get injured or killed trying to interdict them in this exact moment.
Hotel parking lots are the target for the people we're watching tonight.
He's taken a long enough time that they're going to be they're going to be actively getting a car right now.
And that stolen Jeep isn't alone for long.
Okay, I have the Jeep here. This is going to be our car.
It's alongside another stolen vehicle.
I'm around, boys. He's in tandem with a Sequoia. Let's see if they're together. There's a gray Sequoia up here.
You think they took the Sequoia?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's got a broken rear window.
So we're following a stolen car right now.
Yeah.
And where do you think they're going
Under
with
a
it?
table.
We're going to take this to one of those cooling spots that we know.
Oh, there it is, look.
And here's the Sequoia. What will happen, what happens with these groups is they'll have taken photos of this Sequoia and they will be shopping it on all these different levels of people who traffic cars overseas. So they'll be reaching out to all these groups saying, this is what I got, this is the price I want for it.
But the police will step in before the thieves can cash in.
We're likely to recover this one.
There is another way. A country where cars are harder to steal. And automakers are pushed to do better. We're in the United Kingdom, inside an insurance industry-funded research center where cars are actually tested for their security. We have nothing like this in Canada. Steve Launchbury is their principal engineer for automotive security.
And you actually score vehicles here based on how secure they are. How does that work?
The scoring mechanism is done over 1,000 points, and that gives the manufacturer the opportunity to attain to try and be the best in class.
The more layers of security the car has, the more points it gets, which can mean lower insurance premiums.
And that would probably incentivize automakers to...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So the incentivization for a vehicle manufacturer is to do well, to make it more affordable for the users of their vehicles.
Can you show me the ways in which you test?
Yeah, absolutely.
Their testing awards points for features like an intrusion sensor.
If the glass was broken or anybody tried to reach into the vehicle, the alarm will then pick up this and sound.
All right, so clearly that works.
And they give cars extra points for having a tilt sensor to guard against theft by tow truck.
We would expect the alarm to be sounding.
And it does.
If your car is attacked by a criminal, then it should put up some sort of resilience against that.
A lot of what you're doing here, we do not do in Canada. I mean, you test for security. We don't test for security. Do you think what you do should be done everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're not alone with the theft problem.
So, what's the deal in Canada?
Time for a little testing of our own. We're hitting up some dealerships: Honda, Jeep, Land Rover, and Lexus. Taking a look at the security features on some of the most frequently stolen cars in Canada.
And comparing them to the same vehicle in the UK. On the British version of the CR-V, this is the same kind of car that Sharon had stolen. The 2024 model offers those tilt sensors as well as intrusion sensors to see if somebody has broken in. And that comes standard. Same goes for the Honda Civic and the Range Rover, Lexus RX, Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Jeep Wrangler. All of them offer tilt as well as intrusion sensors.
But here in Canada, those additional security features are not on Canadian models of the same cars. You won't find tilt or intrusion sensors on this Honda CR-V. Or the Honda Civic, Range Rover, Lexus RX, Jeep Grand Cherokee, or Jeep Wrangler.
Do you think it's acceptable that there are the same vehicle for sale in different parts of the world and one is better at deterring thieves?
Is it fair? No, because I mean, obviously you would expect the car to be as secure as it could possibly be. You know, we have got a theft problem in the UK still, but we are certainly making it more and more difficult.
And auto theft is indeed lower in the UK than it is in Canada.
We are making it harder. There is no one element that stops this car from being stolen. There's layers of security on this vehicle that makes that more secure.
So why are the layers of security different on Canadian cars? We ask the companies. They all say they are continuously evolving to stay ahead of criminals. Honda says they can't get specific as it may compromise security. The makers of Jeep say they comply with or surpass all Canadian standards. The makers of Lexus say they're responding quickly to new theft methods. While the makers of Range Rover tell us their newer models have features which are proving resilient to theft. None would agree to an on-camera interview. Meantime, there's a big break for York Regional Police. They recover a bunch of stolen vehicles. And when the shipping container is cracked open, look what's there. The stolen Toyota Tundra we'd been tracking just days earlier, now likely to be returned to its owner. We've learned some of the most stolen cars in Canada come with more security features in the UK. Just outside Toronto, some residents say extra layers of protection on cars can't come soon enough. At Dahlia Bateman's house, security cameras are rolling when her Range Rover is stolen from her driveway while she's inside watching TV with her family.
Got in, just opened it, and 30 seconds later, he just backed out and took off.
In a matter of seconds, the thief is gone, and so is Dahlia's car.
It's quite upsetting. It felt very violated. it made me feel like, wow, what can they do next?
Delia says police tell her that her Range Rover was the 8th one stolen that week.
It is a very big problem, and at the end of the day, it affects everyone. It affects our insurance rates, premiums, and we all get burnt.
20 minutes away, someone wanted Shilpa Gandhi's car so bad, she says they held her up at gunpoint.
And he's like, give me your car keys. I'm like, no, you know what, let me call the 911. And then he's like, if you call the 911, and he removed her gun. And he's like, if you call the 911, I'm gonna shoot you.
Now that must have been terrifying. How are you managing now?
It was rough for a really long time, especially driving by myself in the nights. All this over a car.
Anuj Sethi says his car was stolen from his driveway in the middle of the night.
The parking spot was empty. I went to my, my family room. The keys were there, and it struck me, really? Am I the next one? Because I've been hearing about all these car thefts going around, and sure enough, the car was stolen. The reason I moved to this country 22 years ago is because it's SAFE. We were scared that night that we couldn't sleep. You know, like if it's happened once, what if they come back, you know, so.
For Anuj, security was top of mind when he bought a replacement vehicle.
My biggest consideration was not the money, was it should not be in the top 10 stolen cars list in Canada.
So you actually bought this car
Yeah.
because it's not on that list?
100%.
While Charles C. hears from victims in Canada, I'm in Orlando at an international conference where investigators and innovators in the fight against auto theft have one clear message.
This problem started with the automakers. They are selling vehicles that are insecure.
Brian Gast echoes that. He leads investigations for Canada's insurance industry.
Yet people are still watching their vehicles stolen in 20 seconds. What's it going to take to stop auto theft?
The vehicle still has to be harder to steal in the first place. Make sure it's more fortified, it's more protected.
Incredibly, there is already a proposal to make cars in Canada harder to steal. Vehicle security expert Reg Phillips helped write it.
We've got it ready for today's car to be adopted by the government so they can enforce that. So how to properly secure a vehicle and make it safe and effective.
What can we as consumers do to pressure whoever it is, government, manufacturers, to get to that next step?
Make your voice heard. You are the most powerful thing if you're a consumer. You talk to your insurance company, you talk to your local MPP, you talk to the government and say, hey, this is a problem. You gotta speak up, you gotta make yourself known.
While we wait for Canada to adopt new standards, back in the UK, Steve's team is getting ready to grade a new security feature starting later this year.
Personalisation feature is something we're just proposing now. It's a significant layer that we consider as an enhancement to the existing security. So this one has a nice feature. Essentially, it's a pin to drive, so you need to enter a set of digits.
Just like going to the bank machine.
Yep, absolutely. So just another layer of authentication before it allows you to drive away. We're just starting to suggest that manufacturers should at least allow a function like this to exist, to allow the user of the vehicle to decide and determine whether or not they need to activate that.
And this personalized security could take other forms too.
As well as a pin to drive function, you could have designated switches in the car that you need to switch before you can engage drive.
Some car makers offer this type of security already, but Steve wants them all to offer it standard. Until that happens, some drivers are turning to aftermarket shops. But that extra protection can cost drivers extra money. With systems like the one Harman Singh is installing in Toronto.
We are looking at a really expensive car, one of the most stolen in the country.
Yes.
You've actually got a way to stop thieves from getting it.
Yes, we do.
All right, let's take a look.
So here's the keys.
Foot on the brake, finger on the start button, electric start.
No engine start.
Even though I have the keys to this car, it won't start.
What that does is it basically allows the driver to create a password.
But it's not a password like my ATM. It's not 4 or 6 digits or something like that. Not numbers, it's actual buttons.
Buttons, yeah.
Okay, show me how it works.
So we have a default password set in this one, which we're gonna change later.
Okay.
So what you're gonna do is now press the set button 4 times.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. You're gonna wait for the confirmation. And now when you put your foot on the brake and start the vehicle, it's gonna start.
There we go.
Good to go. Until you don't do that, it's not gonna start. So in this particular vehicle, we have the buttons on the steering wheel, the shifters, the window buttons, and the mirror buttons.
On this system, those buttons can be set in any order, anywhere from 3 to 20 steps.
It's like an individual password that would be basically impossible to guess.
Exactly.
If the technology exists, why isn't it just in cars to begin with?
It's a good question. I wish I had the answer, but auto manufacturers don't want to implement it yet. I don't know what they're waiting for, but it needs to be there.
So we asked Jeep, Land Rover, Honda, and Lexus if they're considering adding a personalization option in their vehicles, but no answer on that.
CAA's Elliot Silverstein says the response is simple. Manufacturers need to step up.
Some manufacturers do things more or do things better than others. And I think that the comfort for a consumer is that they should feel comfortable that no matter what car they drive, there's a certain level of security in there going forward that's reflective of today's society.
And he says the government should step in.
What would you like that requirement to say?
It needs to be modernized, it needs to be updated to reflect current standards and looking ahead to where it's going. Because the more that we can be prepared for today and planning ahead for tomorrow, the better off we'll be, because we don't want to have a situation like we have today continuing year after year.
Is the government taking action fast enough?
So the government has taken some action federally. They need to do more, and they need to do it faster, because really every day that goes on here where cars are being stolen, it's a day lost.
If cars in Canada are so easy to steal, what is the government going to do about it? Time for us to ask Transport Minister Anita Anand.
We have held consultations to update the Canadian Motor Vehicle Safety Standards to help prevent cars from being stolen in the first place.
She's holding a press conference about combating auto theft in Oakville, Ontario, so we share our findings with her.
I'm Charles Ciagro with CBC's program Marketplace. Our team has learned there are actually a number of security features that are available on UK models of some of the most stolen cars in Canada. But those same security features are not available on the Canadian models. So why are we not putting the same pressure on manufacturers in this country to make those changes now?
We speak to manufacturers regularly, and we are on top of how we can make our regulatory regime and our legislative regime as secure as possible for vehicle owners.
And what about bringing in new security standards for all new cars?
When are you going to update those anti-theft standards, and what's taking so long?
We know that amending legislation does take time, but yes, we are on top of it. Those consultations have concluded. Officials are going through them and will be suggesting amendments to the regulations.
Do you want to commit to a timeline for that today on when Canadians can expect to see that happen?
So we're coming to the end of 2024, and we will put something on the table in 2025.
Okay.
And I am working on an as soon as possible basis.
Until then, police are acting one car at a time, including Peel's enforcement team about to take down that suspected trafficker of stolen cars.
Yeah, he's on the move again. What lane's he in, pal?
Could be boxed in here a little bit. All drops, push off.
After documenting their suspect's every move for hours, it's time cops move in.
Yeah, Raj, he's up to it, around.
One more stolen car recovered. But unless the cars themselves are made stronger, thieves will continue their lucrative game.